Hello everybody and welcome to the video. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're coming back, welcome back. Happy to have you here. And we are finally doing the long-awaited continuation of Redesign My Childhood Minecraft Diaries. And this time, it's going to be formatted a bit differently. So, if you like this content and if you like what I do, be sure to subscribe, like the video, comment, etc, etc. I hear you ask, what do you mean by different, Corvid? And I'm here to tell you, don't worry. Basically, in the past, I had done 3 different characters. The first video, it was Afmal, Lawrence, and Garth. Second one, it was some of the villains of the series. And a lot of people had commented that they wanted to see Travis. And I also wanted to try some new formatting for concept sheets. So this is just going to be him. We are not doing another character, it's just going to be Travis. And I actually really like this. It's actually very good practice for me because I do want to be a concept artist. So if you like this format a lot better than what I did previously, let me know in the comments. If not, I'll go back to the other one and just practice my concepts on my own time. Which I will do regardless. But anyways, let's just jump straight into it because I have a lot to talk about for his design. So let's get to it. So I looked through so much fan art and designs of Travis when I was trying to figure out how I wanted to draw him. And I saw some people draw him very feminine-like and with longer hair, very curly hair, and also with a very accentuated nose, and I really like that. So I wanted to include those features in his design, and honestly, I really like how he turned out. I think it's very Travis, and I think he's very pretty. I'll say it. I also, the attire that I gave him was very merchant and sailor-esque, which you'll see. But I don't know why. It's just whenever I think of Travis, I think of flirting, right? He's a big flirt within the series. We know that. That's established pretty early on. But not only that, whenever I think of flirt in like a fantasy world, I think of pirates and merchants and people who just, they travel a lot, they party, they have a good time. But then I was reading his lore, by the way, I read his lore after the fact of me designing all of this, so sorry if I'm making things up as I go. But I read his lore, and he was like a warrior, And I did not remember that at all. To be honest, I didn't remember a whole lot about Travis, which is sad. I'll admit that. It is sad. But he's a very fascinating character. Like, I was reading his lore, and it was like, yeah, he was the last person in his tribe who's basically defending his tribe. Like, there's no other guards who can fight off the bad warlock. He's the only one. Him and his mom were the only ones who could do it. It was like a whole thing, and I was like, what in the world's happening? I don't remember this at all. But when I was also designing him, I was thinking of his other form as well. And initially, when I was designing him, I thought that it was a curse. For some reason, I don't know why, I just sort of assumed that it was a curse. I think I also thought that it was because he was the warlock's kid. And that was the whole thing as well. So it was like a double whammy. But that's not the fact, I don't think, unless I misunderstood the lore entirely of what I read. But basically, it was sort of insinuated that Travis and his mom are descendants from the divine warrior Enki. So now, but at the same time, it also kind of makes sense, in my head at least, for how his design turned out. It was sort of meant to be. It was sort of fate. And this is because, in my head, the divine warriors don't show their faces. The only divine warrior who showed their face was Shad. And a bunch of fan art that I had seen of Irene she wore a veil, and I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. So like it sort of kind of worked. My initial thinking of curse and like, ooh, spooky, scary, sort of worked out and panned out perfectly with my line of thinking about the Divine Warriors. Which, by the way, the Divine Warriors are such a mess of a topic. Like, I don't think that Afmal completely thought everything out when she was making this series, so it just sort of flowed out, I suppose, and just was like, oh yeah, we'll make it up as we go and it'll turn out fine. Anyways, I think that it all sort of worked out well though, because I associate goats with wisdom and enlightenment, and if I remember correctly, Enki was like the divine warrior of wisdom, probably. I don't know. Someone in the comments is going to just chew me out because I don't remember but a whole lot about like anything about Travis and like the divine warrior Enki. But in all fairness, I don't think there was that much said about Enki or any of the divine warriors. I also don't know if I'm saying that right. Enki. I don't know. Anyways, the reason why there's so many eyeballs as well in his design is because I remember way back when, it was like 2012 or 14, whatever, and I saw a bunch of fan art of Travis, and a lot of people associated his other form with Enderman. They thought it was some sort of like Enderman thing because of the purple skin and also the purple glow and aura that he had around him. So I wanted to sort of make a little call back to that theory that a lot of people had via the eyes, and also the star as a symbol of like enlightenment and what have you. So yeah, I tried my best to convey like little nods back to the oh so loved fan-made theories and lore and such. But yes, so if you're wondering why he doesn't have any armor, in all fairness, his skin has 0 armor on it, so you can't even really get mad at me. But I did want to make his hair long enough that he could put it up and show his updo. And yes, I did redo the boots. Listen, okay? Listen. I'm gonna go on a little tangent about feet and shoes, okay? I recently have been trying to refine and discover my style once again. I just really like simplistic styles as well, so it's sort of that balance of like detail and simplicity. And I have a tendency to make shoes a lot more clunky than they need to be. So yes, I did redo the shoes, and I ended up actually tweaking a bunch within this, which in my humble opinion is a good thing because it shows that I'm able to change my mind and not just be like, oh, that's good enough. Like, no, I need to make it look decent and good. Also, listen, I don't know why I made this incense charm rosary thing. I don't know why I made it. I just thought it looked cool. I saw it on Pinterest, like as a concept, and I thought it was cool. And, you know, like we have the whole religious thing going on, the divine warriors and yada yada yada. There's also the whole priest parallel between Zane, so I was like, you know what, why not? And yes, I do know that realistically that sword would not be useful at all. It'd be a very difficult sword. I don't care. This is a fantasy world where fantasy thinks that magic exists. He can figure it out. As far as this potion goes as well, because again, I thought it was a curse. In my head, I was like, oh, it can be like, you know, from the Owl House when Ida has that elixir that gets rid of her curse. That was my thinking, okay? And then, of course, he needs his merchant satchel, even though he's not a merchant. I'm telling you, I ran wild with this design, and I can't say that I'm mad because it actually looks really good. Anyways, let's continue on to the coloring. Okay. His color palette stayed pretty true in nature. He has his classic white hair, which I also, it kind of it kind of bugs me that some of the characters have unnatural colored hair, but then I remind myself this is a fantasy world where magic and dragons are real. So who am I to judge? You know what I mean? But yes, I kept his very famous bright platinum white hair, and then I tried to keep his color palette within the warmer tones. In my head, originally, I was going to stay within the wine colors, like deep purples and, well, deep purple reds and purple reddish is what I'm trying to say. But that didn't really, I don't know, it doesn't look good, because I had redesigned him before. I made an entire video and I didn't like how the picture turned out. I didn't like how the design looked. I didn't want to post something that I wasn't proud of. So I scrapped it and I just redid it and I just did more research. But to include the purple scheme of his other form, I did include purple little suspenders and a purple ribbon in his hair. So, we're trying to stay true somewhat to the purple theme, somewhat. But his inky form has a bunch of purple. I also forgot that his skin was gray in his inky form, and you'll see me fix it very, very soon. That's aside the point, though. For his skin, for his inky form, I had a hard time too, because I sort of wanted it to have a purple-ish undertone, but I also didn't want everything to be muddled and gross, so I just ended up giving him purple blush and highlights instead. So, and you know what? I think it looks really good. I think he looks very, very snazzy and just cool overall. And I think the double horns just makes him look so cool. Like, you can't tell me that's super cool. I just, it's cool. Like, look at it. It just looks nice. It looks so cool. It looks so nice. Keeping that Enderman theme with the purple. And oh my gosh, guys, use gradients. For the love of everything, use gradients. They make everything look so nice and neat. Just trust me on it. Every so often, just sprinkle a little bit of a gradient in there, okay? It's gonna look so good. Gonna make your piece look so cohesive and nice. Just trust me. Trust me on that one, okay? Okay. But yes, I did struggle a little bit with his boots and stuff because I was trying to think of contrasts. I didn't want the colors to be too dark because then it would look, weird. But I also didn't want them to be too close in nature to everything else. So a lot goes into my designs, okay? His sword made me want to cry a little bit because it's the only thing that had red. And it was just a bright red. And I was, ooh, if I could have changed his sword, I would have. But I knew that's one of his biggest staples. And I didn't want to change a whole bunch. I had already changed so much. So I was like, I need to keep some consistencies. Otherwise, people are going to crucify me. But, yes, I do like how all of his little items turned out, even if they don't make complete sense canonically or whatever. I still think they're really cool concepts and that everything just looks great. I just really like how his design turned out. I'm not even gonna try and mess with you guys. It just looks nice. It looks really cohesive and it looks great, and I'm very proud of myself for it. But yeah, I love Travis, and I hope that you guys like this design of Travis. So I'm just gonna let you enjoy the rest of this because there's not much else to say color wise and like color palette and choice. So enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you like my Travis design. I hope I did him justice. If you've made it this far, congrats! Be sure to subscribe, like the video, comment, maybe even join my Discord server. Link is in the description below. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, bye-bye!